Hey everyone, welcome to vlog number 7. So if you were one of the 7 people that viewed episode 6, you'll remember that I tried to set a mouse trap to catch a mouse. Well, so far, not so good. Here's how it's going down. Alright, so here's my problem. I just think I'm better than everyone else. I guess I tend to over-engineer or re-engineer stuff that I see, thinking that maybe somehow I'm better or smarter, but I'm not, and I pay the price. So here we are with this damn mouse trap. This is like a mouse-proof mouse trap. So what did I do wrong on this? Well, the original version of this was a Coke bottle with like a really small entrance. I say entrance, but I mean, I don't know. What the fuck is that called? A bottle with a really small neck. But the mouse that I saw the other day, I didn't think that mouse could fit in that neck, so I got this bigger bottle. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the mice are sort of starting to crawl in and they just don't like the fact that it doesn't hold their weight or whatever. I don't know. I mean, we've got mice. We clearly have mice. We've seen droppings all over the place. The dogs are going nuts in the middle of the night, so I know the mice are rolling around. The latest place that I put this trap was in the pantry, which is where we saw the most droppings. I suppose I could bite the bullet, swallow my pride, and use a factory trap like this one. But this one is kind of hard to set. You gotta really sort of like futz with it. I'm not even sure how to, I don't know, maybe you flip the doors open, I guess. And then you gotta, I don't know, somehow set it to where, I don't know. But anyways, so I guess I could swallow my pride and use this factory-made trap. But I'm really disappointed. I really wanted to catch a mouse with this little trap here. I'm not giving up yet. I might have to find another bottle and maybe I'll just go with the original design using like a Coke bottle and some peanut butter. Very frustrating. Alright, there you go. I've swallowed my pride and I set the factory-made trap built by somebody else. Oh, that really just bugs the crap out of me. But there it is. Product review. Okay, today I'm going to do a review on a really great camera. This is the Sony CyberShot DSC HX1 bridge camera. What is a bridge camera? It's not quite a DSLR, but it's much better than a little pocket cam, way more feature rich. This is an older camera. This is about 5 years old, maybe 6. The HX1 was actually one of the first, if not the very first camera to be able to shoot 1080p video. One of the caveats of this still camera being one of the first video cameras is that it's got that 2 gigabyte FAT32 file size. Well, what is that? Well, it formats the cards in FAT32. FAT32 file system has a 2 gigabyte file size limit. So the 2 gigabyte limit dictates that this camera will record about 24, 25, 26 minutes of 1080p video. Unlike GoPro cameras that will actually create consecutive 2 gigabyte files, this camera does not. What happens with this camera is it stops recording after roughly 25 minutes. So you have to manually restart it. That's kind of a big deal. So if you're recording something like time-lapse for an hour or 2 hours, you got to go back every 25 minutes, stop recording, start recording. Otherwise it'll shut off on its own and you might miss something. The one thing I kind of don't like about this camera for shooting video is it doesn't really have a comprehensive manual mode. The manual mode lets you set focus, which is great if you're shooting like static objects and you've got people walking by or something and you don't want the autofocus changing focus on you. You can set the camera in manual focus mode and that will negate that autofocus annoyance. The stereo microphones on top do a really good job of capturing audio. By my estimate, the audio is high passed at like 200 Hertz, so it can sound kind of thin if you're recording music. I would recommend a separate audio recorder if you're going to record music or do band videos or something like that, because the high pass on this makes audio sound kind of thin. but it's great for vocals. In the wind, it sucks. What I do sometimes, I'll cup my hand around the microphone to cut the wind out, but overall this is a terrible microphone in the wind. The other thing I really like about this camera is it's got an awesome macro mode. Now I'm recording on an exact twin of this camera. As you can see, it does a really nice macro. Unfortunately, focus-wise, recovering from macro, it can take a little time, as you can see. The autofocus is not super fast, but eventually it'll find the focus. Because this is an older camera, it only shoots 9 megapixel photos, which are still pretty good photos, perfect for web and stuff like that. I think the pixel matrix is 3456 by 2952, I'm not mistaken. As a still camera, it's got full manual mode, so you can set aperture, shutter speed, ISO. It's got shutter priority, aperture priority, program. As you turn the knob here, it'll toggle between shutter and aperture, but maintain and hold the same exposure value. Another great feature of this camera is panorama mode. This really does a really good job at shooting panorama shots, which is pretty amazing since this is one of the first ones to do that. It has other consumer features like face detection, red eye reduction. You can set the flash intensity, which is pretty cool. It has advanced features like bracket mode, which is pretty cool. It'll shoot 3 shots with varying exposure for HDR photography or high dynamic range photography. So that's pretty cool. It's got filters. You can use cool, warm, red, green, blue. You can increase, decrease the contrast, saturation, sharpness. All that stuff is manual in this camera. One of the features I like is the articulating screen, the LCD screen. You know, you're looking over there. It's got a really nice LCD screen, and this thing is really robust. I mean, I'm surprised this hasn't busted off. I mean, we really treat our cameras roughly. It still works really well. It's still nice and tight. And while it doesn't tilt all the way up for like a selfie sort of situation, it does tilt all the way down. So you can hold the camera like out or up above your head. So it's great for shooting in crowds and stuff and getting the shot. It's awesome. The other thing I like is you can toggle between the LCD screen and the viewfinder. So if you're like me, I like using the viewfinder. I use the viewfinder most of the time, which also saves battery. So if you're going to like set the camera down and do like some time exposures like I recently did, I always turn the LCD screen off. You know, why waste the battery? Speaking of batteries, when the batteries are new, you get like a good 2 hours of life out of them. But all my batteries are pretty worn, getting like less than an hour. So I just have multiple batteries with one always in the charger. The other great thing is these cameras are cheap. I saw 3 today on eBay for under $100. So for like 80, 90 bucks, this is an awesome, awesome camera. And I can't emphasize how robust these cameras are. So this is my girlfriend's case. Obviously, she takes really, really good care of her camera. This is my case. This is my case, which has been to hell and back. So obviously she takes better care of her camera. I beat the crap out of mine, and that thing just keeps bouncing back for more. It's a great camera. I've had this camera now for, I'm gonna say 4 years, and I have just shot a ton of video on this, a ton of photos, and this thing just works great. So in conclusion, this camera is a best buy. You almost can't lose buying one of these. If you find one of these on eBay for 80, 90, 100 bucks, you can't lose. It's just an awesome camera. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoyed my vlog. Please comment and subscribe right down there. I don't do all that fancy trickery like here. You see, there's nothing there. Just click here. Just click here to subscribe. Just click here to subscribe. Here. Just click here. Alright, subscribe down there and comment down there. Thanks.